feast of empires crumbling in the gloom. Napkin men with metal hearts surround us, drawing nearer, bodies fill the room. Our talking heads parade their faces every day, showing us the way to think and feel, helping us to understand the rich man's point of view. They said it on the news and now it's real.
Hey, hello everyone, and welcome to the first Chill Art Sunday of the new year. Happy New Year, everyone! I hope you all are doing very well. Happy Sunday. I see a couple familiar faces on the chat. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining again. So good to see you. Okay, so that Christmas picture that I have been saying for 4 years, now 5, that I would finish in time for Christmas and never do. Let me see if I can finally finish that thing today. Probably not. But I am much closer now to getting that thing done than I was before. Well, obviously, every time I work on this, I make more progress. So yeah, that's a given. Let me put away the second keyboard because I had a wireless keyboard on my lap over here. Okay, let's see. What was I doing here last time I worked on this? Okay, so I have finished shading the dragon. I believe I have also finished shading the Yoshi. Yeah, he seems to be shaded. Although that is not too noticeable because his colors are so light. Right, yes. So the next thing I was going to shade was this little wild guy over here, this little unicorn. And then I'm gonna have to shade the background. Also, I gotta kind of finish this effect on the snow over here. This needs a little more work. But yeah, next thing to shade is the unicorn. This little cutie over here. Okie dokie. Let's close that. Let's expand this. Let's see, body. That's his body, alright. Okay. I should probably merge his cutie mark with the layer body, the body layer. Sorry. Merge down. Yes. Okay. I've put the scarf. Yes, the scarf on the same layer. Okay, no problem. So as usual, let's use the dodge tool to shade, well, to light in this case, with the exposure of 100%. A soft, round brush, not too big. Okay, let's begin. So the light is coming from up top. So let's do some lighting here on this part of the scarf. Also, the pony is very small, he's very close to the snow, so there should be a lot of light reflection coming from the snow. So they're kind of gotta have a lot of light coming from everywhere on him. Though of course mostly from the top, because that's where most of the light is coming from. I'm gonna have to do this again, because this part over here, there is a hole on this layer right here, and there needs to be light going over this leg over here on his shoulder. But if I apply that all willy-nilly, I am going to add a lot of light to this section of the scarf, and this section of the scarf is not supposed to have as much light. So I gotta be mindful of that and figure out how exactly I'm going to do that. For now, let me do this section of his body. Down here. Down here as well. Okay. Let me use a smaller brush. And actually, you know what? I'm pretty sure I can just select this area kind of like this. No, that is not going to be a very good selection. this is going to cause some artifacts. Let's instead do this. Okay, that should work. Alright, let's switch to the burn tool. 100% exposure, size 200. Make everything dark. Go back to the dodge tool, change the exposure to 50%, and let's remove half of this darkness I have just applied. Now the reason for this is so I can get the correct light levels that I want. Here we go, that should work. Now with this I can do, I already had the correct tool over here. I can do highlights. Oh, hold on, first let me do the shadows, the darker areas. So like I said, because this character is so small in comparison to the dragon, like seriously, he is tiny. Look at that. Very small. But yeah, since he is so small and he is so close to the ground, and this is all snow, everything is white, there's a lot of light reflecting off the snow, so there should be light coming from pretty much everywhere on him. Still, most of it coming from the top. That's not the right place I should be putting this. What I mean is that there probably isn't going to be as many shadows on the pony as there are like on the Yoshi. Well, even the Yoshi himself doesn't have that many shadows on him, because he's also much smaller than a dragon, just slightly taller than the pony. But yeah, both of them are very small, well, very much smaller than the dragon, so they are much closer to the ground. So yeah, there should not be as much shadows on these characters, just a little bit. Like here, for example. Yep. Let's see, some right here behind his rump. A little bit down here by his knee. Of course, gotta darken up the bottom half of the roof, because this is going to be sunk, quote unquote, into the snow later. Let's do some detailing on this scarf. Use a smaller brush. No, that is not good. Actually, that can be good. I just need less exposure and the correct size for the brush. Let's try 17. Let's run this shade along. So what I am doing now is I am giving this scarf and the wrinkles on it the idea of depth. Like, see, now you can already tell that this is a piece of cloth and that it has undulations, it has wrinkles, it has those things, it has imperfections, because such is the nature of cloth. And I remember this one time I drew curtains. I really don't want to draw curtains again, not anytime soon. That was so much hard work. There we go. Let's add a little more shade closer to the line. Same thing there. Okay, that is a little better, I guess. Maybe a little here too. Gotta respect the shape of the scarf. That is very important. Okay, that looks good. Let me do kind of the same thing over here. Alright. And let's run some of this over here too. Again, respecting the shape of the scarf. Okay, that looks good. A little bit more here too. Yep, that is nice. Some down here. A little bit more, though with a smaller brush. Okay, now I want some highlights, so let's switch to the dodge tool. A small brush. Let's add highlight right here. Yep. Here too. Now a little bit of a smaller brush. Let's add a highlight here. Gotta get the pen pressure just right at the beginning. And the shape too. Okay, that is better. Let's add some over here too. And even smaller brush. Let's add a little bit right here. Yeah, that looks good. I mean, it could look better though. It could look better. Let's change this exposure to 30%. Use a larger brush. 21, yeah. And let's add a bit more here. A bit more here. That seems too bright now. Let's try to fix this by darkening it a bit. And yeah, I am using 30% exposure on the burn tool. This doesn't look very good. Let's smudge this thing. You know, so I can blend. I am going to need the line art for this scarf, so I don't accidentally damage the colored line art. Let's see, where is that silver trot body line art? It should be this. Yep, it is. So let's copy this over to here. Perfect. Now, because I just want the scarf, this might actually be very useful when I want to shape just his body. Actually, it just occurred to me. But yeah, for now, because I want just the scarf, I am going to erase all the line art that belongs to his body. So let's do this little cut over here. Over here as well. Okay, Now I am going to select, I am going to erase the entirety of his body on this black line art layer, but I don't want to move the scroll bar, so I'm going to select just the scarf, invert the selection, and delete. There we go. That has given me exactly what I wanted. Now, what exactly do I want to do with this? I want to select. Okay, but I want to select just the interior. Is this right? Let me see. Brush. Invert the selection. Okay, yes, this is what I want. This selection is exactly what I want. Oops, what have I just done? I do want to unselect this area here though. Okay, that is good. So let's hide this layer. Let's go back to the body. Smudge tool. And a little bit of a larger brush. This should work. Let's move it like this. Like that, yeah. Maybe some blur. I don't think blur is actually going to do much, but let's see if it makes any difference. Hardly. It actually does make some difference. But let me do it like this instead. Let's do some over there as well. Yeah. Actually, should run the smudge tool there? Nah, the blur tool is fine. Let's unselect. And let me see what I have just done. Again, not perfect, but this looks a lot better now. So much better. I like it. Let's go to the dodge tool. Let's add a little more highlight up there, because I think this area over here is what requires some more of this. So let's do this. Oh yes, definitely better. Definitely better. Now I want some more over here. This section of this, actually, let's select this again. I am going to paste that layer again, because now I want this area of the scarf, but I also want this line to be here. I do not want, however, his leg, so I am going to erase these pieces of this line so I do not accidentally apply any selection and therefore shading and highlighting to his leg, because I do not want to touch his leg right now. Let me erase over here as well. And actually, let me erase this upper area of the scarf as well, this part that is going around his neck, because I also do not want to alter that section of the scarf. Let's select this, move it here, move it there, select, invert the selection, delete everything else, and let's select just the interior. So when tool, Alt key, perfect. Let's hide that. Let's add highlights on this part here, this part here. Nice. And a little more there. Excellent. Now let's use some blur to blend the lightness with the darkness a little better. I don't like what's going on here though. That is not good. Let's do just this section. Okay, barely noticeable, but it's there. It's better. It's good. Okay, let's save and drink water. I always have water with me now when I am streaming. Gotta say hi. Ooh, I almost accidentally tossed my pen away. That would have been bad. Okay, let's see. What's next? Chest. Okay, this section is going to be very, very easy. This is just a completely independent layer. And let's see. This should not have much lights, but it should have some lights. So down here, I guess. Let's darken it, like I always do. There we go. Half light it up. Okay. Back to the burn tool. Now I need to add some shading right here under the scarf. A little more. I'm gonna need a larger brush. Okay, now I need a smaller brush, but I am going to change the range to highlights and the exposure to 30% because I want to make this part, this area here that is much closer to the scarf, I want to make this a lot darker. This might be too dark. Yeah, it is too dark. Oh, I see the problem. I applied too much darkness right here. Let's smudge. Let's do some smudging. Because right now, let's use the blur tool. I need this difference to disappear, so blending the color differences should fix that. It's still perceptible, it's still noticeable, but it's much better. I actually do need it to be noticeable, just not too noticeable, you know. Let's try this again. Now we're talking. Now that is better. Okay, let's save. Remember, always save your progress. So now the next layer is going to be his head. Oh, that's a headless horse! Okay, so his head is composed by, well, the head, but also the hat and his tongue plus his goatee. Okay, this shouldn't be difficult. I say that and then I immediately run into the issue of, well, applying the highlights where they are supposed to go. I need highlights here on his ear, but not on this part of the hat. I need highlights on top of this hat over here, but again, not in this section of the hat. Now the problem here is I need to apply the highlights on this section of the ear, but if I do that, highlighting is going to be also applied to this section of the hat. I don't want that. So I think what I am going to do is to, again, let me delete this layer, use the original line art layer. That way I can select just the area that I need. There's his head. And let's put this over here. Okay, first I want just his head, not the hat. I need more zoom. So let's let's erase. Actually, hold on a second. I need to give this a little bit of thought. Okay, so I do want to erase this line here. This line here plus this one on top. But keeping this one down here. Yeah, this should give me the selection that I need without causing troubles to the rest. Oops, that's too big of a brush. There we go. Let's erase that. Now I need to erase that very small line over there, right here, but without erasing the others. You know, the one that is defining his horn, and actually I do want to erase the outline of the head as well. So right this here. Okay. Let's erase over there. Okay, this is good. Let's get rid of this little thing here, which belongs to the hat. Okay, now I should have just his head, just the actual head. So let's select. Do I really want to select with the wand? I don't think I do. Okay. So this has selected only the line art. I don't want to select just the line art. Let's include the inner area of his head. Why can't I select that? There we go. Also his tongue and his goatee. Okay, so this is the selection that I want. Actually no, not quite. I do want the I do want the inner area to be selected, but the selection must end right where the black line begins, not where the black line ends like it is right now. Let me do this over. I think I know where I went wrong. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. There we go. And select. No way. Select. What am I doing? Okay, so that has selected just the line arts. That's not what I want. That hasn't done anything. I'm not sure what this has done. Invert the selection. What happens if I do that? Oh, okay. Okay, yeah. This is more akin to what I want. But there are artifacts on the selection. I don't want that. What if I just use the wand tool and manually select the interior areas here? That actually seemed to have worked much better than than otherwise. Okay, let's roll with this. So, like I was saying, I need highlights just on his ear right here. That is barely visible. Am I even applying this effect at all? I don't see it. That's because I am applying on the wrong layer. I just realized. Let's go back to midtones and select the head layer. This is the correct layer. There we go. Now I can see the effect. There it is. Okay. Let's apply this to his neck over here. I think I need a larger brush for that area. So let's just use this brush on the ear. Right there. And let's grab a larger brush and apply it here to his neck. Like that. Yep. Let's add some... Oh, but wait. Now there's another problem here. I need the highlights and shadows, to that matter, to also be applied to the line art. And the way I am doing right now, that is not happening. Okay, let's undo everything I have just done. Heck. I guess I do want to select the whole thing on the outside after all. Let's see, select, modify, let's expand by 1. No, let's not. Let's try like this. Oops, invert the selection, please. Let's add some here. Smaller brush. jawline. This brush is too big. Actually, let's not apply this highlight here, not now. Let's do this side of his face. That tone is so cute. That face is so cute. Come on. That's some here. And some here too. Maybe? No. Some here on this upper area of his horn. Okie dokie. Alright. Now let's do the head. Let's invert the selection again. And 65 should work. The head should be easy. There we go. Alright. Now let's darken it up. And now it's mostly just a matter of doing the highlights for both the lighting and the shading, because the base lighting is already done. Well, it will be done as soon as I apply the dodge tool at a 50% exposure. There we go. Now I can apply some lighting highlights here on his jawline, like so. I cannot overdo it. That's important. Some right here, his muzzle and snout. Very cute snout. That's too much light coming from this side over here. That is wrong. The light is supposed to be coming from this side. So let's apply this over here in this manner. Okay, that is better. Smaller brush. Let's do some highlighting on his ear. This section of his ear. Yep. And now same thing for his horn. Right. I believe I can keep the head like that, though I do need to apply some right here. Gotta get the pin pressure just right, as well as the shape. It is more difficult than it seems. I probably should use a larger brush with this. No, that's still not good. Still not good. Dang it. Okay, that is better. Let's do some highlight here on his neck. And now let's apply some highlights with shadows. I should probably add some highlights with lighting on his tongue first. I just realized the tongue is a kind of a wet thing, so this must look like it has a lot of light reflecting off of it. That is too cute. Oh, I can't. Let's add some shading here to give the idea that he does have some lips. There we go. A little bit of shade over there too. I might have overdone the shading a little bit. Let me try and fix that real quick. That is just making it worse. I'm gonna have to light this up a little. Let's try this. Let's add the darkness very close to the lip. Try and not to actually touch the line art itself. Okay, that is better, I guess. It's not great. Actually, you know what? I'm going to undo all of this and I'm going to start this bit over. Okay. Change the exposure to 50%. I think I know what the problem here is being. Because Silvertrot's fur color is so light, Photoshop has some issues applying darkness to it. Let me select this again. Oops. That's not what I meant to do. This is what I meant to do. Okay, let's invert this selection. Alright, now that I have just the line art selected, I should be able to apply this effect more efficiently. Let's not use highlights on that, let's use midtones. And a little bit of a larger brush. No, 13 should be okay. Okay, that is better. Let's do another pass. That is a lot better. There we go. I am going to apply some of this to the line art itself though, but not much. Let's change this to 30% opacity. Use a larger brush. Can be, oh, actually not that much larger. Oh yes, yes, now that is what I wanted. Excellent. Perfect. Okay, let's change the exposure back to 50%. Let's grab a quite small brush and let's give these cute little nostrils some shading. Let me try this with highlights on the range. Wow. The highlight range really makes a difference. Okay, what about shadows? I see no difference. Mid-tones. What if I use 100% exposure? Yeah, more or less. Yeah, let's go with this. You see, this is more effective on darker colors. So like the line art for his nostril appears more, becomes more visible when I do this. Which is not really what I want, but it works. Okay, so that is okay, that is good. Let's add some darkness over there. And a little larger brush. Yeah. Some darkness here at the bottom of the horn. A lot of darkness right there at the edge of that line art, because you know there's a hat right there, so this area should be darker. Yeah, that works, I guess. Let's do some of that over here too. Alright, so that is fine. Now let's give this horn a little bit of shape. Let's change this to 50%. And let's run some of this through here. Go. Put there too. Okay, I'm not sure that is quite okay, but let me roll with this and see what happens. Now highlighting here. Some over there as well. This is more or less what I want, but I didn't do this right. It is not looking good. Let's undo all of this. Hey Blooming, welcome to the stream. Happy Sunday. Nice seeing you here. Thank you for joining. How are you doing? Did I just undo too much? I might have undone too much. I should do this manually. With the history over here. Dodge 2, burn 2. Yes, I didn't do too much. This is as much as I can do. Well, as much as I shouldn't do. What is this? Other than the Wii's cursor aim, of course. Okay, I clicked the notification, nothing happened. Whatever. Quite nice Sunday. That is very good to hear. That is very good to hear. The best Sundays are the ones that are nice. Oh, you know what I think might have been my mistake here? I might have used the wrong exposure. So I was trying to compensate. And then I ended up overdoing it. Also the wrong size on the brush. Let me try a size 4. Let's try this. This part of his horn over here, this is too bright. I need to select just his horn. Oh, this is going to work perfectly. Let's see, Mr. Eraser, I need you. Let's delete, or rather erase this line. Okay. Let's do this one as well, because now I just want his horn. The horn is the only thing I want to have selected at this point.
Fine. Perhaps I am acting a bit childish this morning.
Let's see, brush. Black color, because I right now need to close this over here. Right. Now let's select just, let's select just his horn. Okay. Let's include these areas. Perfect. At least I hope this is perfect. Oh, there's a couple areas over there that need to be selected as well. This here and that there. Okay, let me try this. Again, must always respect the the shape of the excuse me. There's something in my throat. There we go. That's better. Coughed a little bit, drank some water. Now it's gone. As I was saying, gotta respect the shape of the elements of the object that I am shading. Gotta respect the shape and the direction that some things are going, if that makes any sense. But yeah. Come on, hand. Get this right. That's more or less. Let's roll with it and see what happens. Let's do the same thing over here. And over here. Okay, so far this is much better than what I was doing originally. Let's do the highlighting. I probably should not run this over the line art around over here. Do that might be a mistake. Yeah, it definitely is a mistake. Let me start over. Let's do it just inside. There. There, almost. No, that is wrong. There we go, that is better. This actually makes things easier. Alright, that is better. Now I should be able to do the lighting highlights and it should look good. There we go. Oops. This must be just right. Ah, yes. That is so much better now. Though this down here, I'm not sure. You know what? Here. Let me do this. Okay, that is better. Now you might be wondering, but Mike, why the heck have you done that? And I am going to show you why. So, let me change the size height. Okay, so here's a unicorn horn. Oh my god. The shape is horrible. Okay, ignore the squiggly lines, but okay, so here's a unicorn's horn, okay? The idea here is that, well, since it has this spiral thing going like this, there, the idea here is that each section of this, not each section, this spiral, these lines going here form this spiral. They are actually grooves on the horn. So like this lower half over here, it would be like this. Let me use a smaller brush. Then it goes up. Goes kind of like this. Okay. And now we have the next section. Oops, what happened here? I have the next section, which kind of does the same thing. Goes like that. And again to the top. Well, that's more or less it. You know. Actually, there would be another section here. But yeah, so this is the idea. So when shading and highlighting, what would happen here is, because it has these shapes, this lower area here, assuming the light is coming from this direction here, okay, there would be shade on this part here, on the back of each one of these sections, kind of like that. Okay, this is just to give you an example. It doesn't have to be perfect. And there would be some lighting going over here, because this part is receiving more light. Like that. See what I am trying to explain here? This sort of thing is what I was doing over here. And I think it worked. It looks good. It looks fine. It looks alright. I gotta do some lighting on his mane over there too, though. And for that, here's what I'm gonna do. Delete this layer, paste this one over again. Let's erase the lines for the horn, because I do not need or want to touch that horn anymore. Let's erase this line here as well. Okay, so now I have just this bit over here. And that is exactly what I want. Okay, that is the exact selection that I need. And let's add some lighting right here, because you know there's some light coming from this side as well. And a little bit of darkness too, 50%. Let's do some right here. Perfect. Nice. Yeah. Although, oops, the heck, I didn't mean to paste. Although, see the little darkness over here? Either this section is too dark or this area over here is too bright. I don't like that. There should be a line going there. It should be more visible. Oh, now it is way too visible. Let me try it this way. Select just the line art. Okay. Let's use a little bit of a larger brush. The tones over here. Let's darken this a bit. And let's light this a bit. Yeah, there we go, much better. Save. Now I need the burn tool again, because I am going to work on his inner ear a little bit. Right here. Not too sure about what I have just done here. I mean, it is what I need. I'm just not sure if the application I have done is really the correct one. Let's try a larger brush with less exposure, and instead of the pen, let me use the mouse to darken this section here evenly. Smaller brush. That is not good. That is not good. Let's undo everything. Oh, you know what? I have an idea. Let me use this layer yet again. And pen tool. Let's make an anchor point here. Another one right here. And let's make this go around. Just not too much. Let's run this inside this line art. Go there and meet with that anchor point. Now let's give this some shape. Now what I am doing here is I am trying to select an area that supposedly has the shape of his ear. Because here, let me give you an example. So you see this area here outside, it has the shape, it goes, does this little curve over here, and oops, then it goes around here across this line and goes down here. This area needs to be curved as well. Okay, so what is going on here is basically this. Okay, let me try and illustrate. So imagine that you are looking at a horse's head sideways, or a cat's even. But anyway, here's their ear, kind of as seen from the side, right? There's the snout. There's the eye. Okay, imagine this is a cat. It kind of looks like a cat. Anyway, so there's the cat, and here is the side of the ear, and here is that ear if you see it from the front. Okay, more or less. Now the ear has obviously has its skin. So we have here the inner area of this ear. But if you look at it from like this angle here, not all the way sideways, but not all the way from the front, it is going to be kind of like this. You know, I'm not sure if I am explaining this correctly, but it has an inner area. Okay. So like, I can't explain this any better. At least I can't figure out how to. But anyway, imagine this is a shell, kind of like this. Okay, and here's the outside area. So if you look at it from this direction, for example, you're going to see a part of the outer area, and here a part of the inner area. So this right here is supposed to be the outside part of the ear, and this here is supposed to be the inside part of the ear. So because the light is approaching different manners in here, there needs to be light on this section and darkness on this section. And what I just said probably makes no sense, but if I can manage to make this work, well, you just see it. So let's make this a selection. And let me try. Larger brush, pretty please. Maybe a little more exposure. Man, sometimes I suck at explaining things. Okay, let's do the dodge tool. Put some lighting over here. Just not too much. Cannot be too much. Yeah, it was too much. Okay, see, that is more of what I was trying to explain. Let me use the blur tool. Or is it the smudge tool that I want? I want to blend this over here. There's some blending over there too. Very slightly, very smoothly. Yeah, I'm not sure. Is this right? This can be better. Maybe if I add more darkness right here. Okay, that is better. Hang on a second. Yeah, this is kind of what I was trying to explain. See how it's darker inside while this outer area here is lighter. Although this is the movie style, this is really cute. Although this is the movie style ear, and what I'm doing there is more the show style ear. That is freaking adorable. Oh god. Let me see this ear over here. Yeah, this is more what I was trying to explain there. Though this is the movie style, the show style, which is what I am going for, is a bit different. It's just that line there. Actually, the show style is not even shaded. It just has a line there to give the idea that, you know, the shape is there. But yeah, I am shading, so I gotta make it. I think what I'm trying to do here is kind of a blend between the show style and the movie style. I think that's what I'm trying to do here. Yeah, see that one over there? Oh god, this is beautiful. Oh, I want this in my collection. Hold on a sec. I'm absolutely adding this one to my collection. There we go. This one is also gorgeous. Oh, this is on the A. Oh god, look at this, it's beautiful. Oh, this is already my favorites. Okay, if it's in my favorites, this one is also my favorites. If it is in my favorites, then it is also in my collection. I am adding this one. I need to stop looking at pony art right now because I am doing a stream, and when I start, it's very hard to stop. But yeah, anyway, that ear thing, that's what I'm trying to accomplish here. So yeah, I'm doing the show style ear with shading. So yeah, I think this is correct now. I think this is fine. Yeah, I just need to add some shading right here. Right here, very gently. Let's use less exposure, and let's add some shading. What? Some shading right here in this manner. Yes, there we go. Now that works. Now, just to make things a little better, let's grab a small brush and add a nice highlight here on the outer area of the ear. Perfect. Perfect. Let me save. Excellent. The first is so cute. I really wish I had a little plushie of this character. And my dragon, of course, this big green guy back there. I'd love to have a plushie of him. It would be awesome. Next is going to be his mane and tail. So here, the mane behind his neck. Let's give this some light. Oh, I forgot to do lighting and shading on his goatee. And I forgot to finish his tongue. Hold on a second. Hold your horses, Mike. Hold your horses. Smaller brush. 50%. Oops. That's 650. That's not what I want. Yeah. Is this applying? Is something happening? Yes, it is. Smaller brush. Now let's use a larger, well, not larger, a higher exposure, just so this is more visible. There we go. Now some darkness right here and there. There we go. Tongue. That tongue. The tongue is gonna have this. This is an effect that I'm going to apply to the dragon later. But for now I'm going to apply to the tongue before I forget it again. Light, reflects. Tongue. Light, reflects. Reflects? No, reflects. Effect. So I need this color, but I need it to be lighter, much lighter. That looks like pink. There. And there. Is that really what I want? No, not really. Not there. There? Kinda? What if I do it here? No, that doesn't look good. Now, ideally, I would want this thing to be on this side of the tongue over here, but most of the light is coming from this side over here. So, by logic, the effect of light reflection should be on this side, but the problem is the shape of the tongue on this side. It makes it difficult. And my brain keeps telling me that I should add some of this over there as well. Okay, let's keep it there. Just there. Like that. Let's do outer glow. Let's pick this color. Yeah, size of 1 is okay. And let's change the opacity to 50%. That doesn't look very good. It doesn't. I'm going to leave it like this for now. And I'll come back to this later. Okay, let's do the shading and lighting on on his mane. Mane and tail. Okay, so let's add that there. Now let's do his tail here. Let's give this some light. I need a larger brush. 65 should work fine. Okay, so let's add lighting up here. A lot of it, because most of the light is coming from that direction. And a little less over here, but more here on the tip of the tail. Some light here on the bottom, because light is reflecting from the snow and coming up. Okay, that should do it. Now let's darken everything. Let's use a larger brush to make things easier. There we go. Now let's go back to the dodge tool at an exposure of 50%, and let's do the same thing, but to brighten it up, but only half of it. Only half of the brightness. There we go. That should be enough. Now, with a smaller brush, I am going to add some light highlights to the areas that need them. So like here, over here, some over here as well, some down here, just some. Yeah. Now with another pass of the brush, let's add a little bit more. And a little bit more on these parts that actually have more light coming. There we go. Let's do some over here too. Now let's do the shading. The lighting itself is a type of shading, because when you make an area lighter without touching another, that another automatically gains some contrast, and well, in contrast it looks darker. So let's run some of this shading inside his tail. That might be too dark. Here, there. Wait. Oh, dang it. I've undone too much. Hey. Okay, that's better. Okay. This can be a little better. No, it's a little better. Right, let's add some shade highlights right on these areas where we have these grooves. Not too much, and as always, gotta respect the shape. There you go. Some over here too. And there we have it. Mane and tail shaded. I am going to add some more effects to these, but those will come later. His right legs now. These should be very simple and easy to do. Dodge tool. Brush 65 should do the trick. So we have a lot of light coming from this side, right? Over here too. Some light coming from the back. So a little bit there. Let's make it dark. Add an exposure of 100%. Now let's go back to the dodge tool and change the exposure to 50% and make this brighter. Okie dokie, that is already starting to look good. Let's do some light highlighting over here, over here. Just a little bit of highlighting on the back of these legs. And now, with the burn tool at a lower exposure and a smaller brush, let's darken the bottom of his hooves, because like I have said before, these will later be quote-unquote sunk into the snow. And ta-da! Silver Trot is fully shaded. Well, mostly shaded. I still gotta add a few more details later. Oh wait, I'm forgetting about his eyes. Gotta do his eyes. Now because Silver Trot is a unicorn and he's drawn in a different style from, slightly different style, I should say, from characters like this guy over here, or this guy over here, the dragon. You can see the dragon's eyes, for example. The pony, he has a little bit of a different style. I draw him obviously on my own style, but I do kind of follow the show style. So for his eyes, things should be a little bit different from the other characters. Let's well, first let's skip this song because the song is a little boring. Let's do some darkness. Well, let's select this first. Let's darken this part a little bit, because after all, eyes are spheres, just like our planet. So there should be some darkness there, because you know, shadow. Just a little bit over here, just slightly. Okay, that is good. Right pupil. What does he look like without these? He still looks very cute. Now, because these are sort of lenses, let's try some bevel and emboss. Let's soften this by 5. Expand a little bit. Yeah, this works, I guess. And let me copy this layer style to the other eye. Ah, no, I accidentally... Oh! I accidentally cleared the thing. Crap. Gotta do it again. Soften by 5, and if I recall correctly, I have used 10 over here. Yes. Copy layer style, and maybe this doesn't say copy on the name. And paste layer style. Alright. Next, I want... What do I want next? I want his iris, and I want the dodge tool. with a small brush. And let's add some lighting right here on this edge. There we go. A little bit more. Could use a little more, but with a larger brush. And a little farther away from the edge. Just a little. One more pass. Yeah, perfect. That works. Now let's do the same thing for the other eye. This one should be a little less noticeable, I think, because it is a little more away from our line of sight. Still should be noticeable though. Yes, that works. One more pass. Excellent. Now, reflection. Let's create this layer. Let's hide this one. And with a circular selection tool, white color over here, and the gradient tool, I'm gonna make a thing, and there's the thing I made. Let's tilt this a bit. Nice. Okay. Why does it look weird? It looks like there's a pattern there. There is a pattern there. The heck? Ah, that's because the interpolation is set to nearest neighbor. No, I need bicubic smoother. Let's see here. There we go. Much better. Now, let's duplicate this layer. Let's copy it over to the other eye, just like that. Now with Mr. Eraser, I don't know why I call this Mr. Eraser. Let's select a round soft brush, and actually now I need to hide a bunch of stuff. Let's hide Eyes White. Let's hide both of the other characters. Actually, not both, just those two groups below there. And the background, let's make this thing visible. And let's hide these. Yes, there we go. Let me hide that. Now I am going to erase this one very close to the eyebrow. The idea being that, well, his eye socket rather, is casting some shadow on top of his eye. So being this a light effect, a reflection of sorts, this part up here should not have light. Not as much light anyway. Okay, so that is done. Let me do the other eye. And this is also going to be a good opportunity to erase these parts that are sort of leaking out of the eye socket. Go. Okay. Now let me select this. Go around here. Go around there. And delete. Voila. Let me make this one visible again. These two can be merged together. Let me call this layer Light Effect. And now let's make stuff visible again. Let me begin by hiding this, making the background visible. Bring back the Dragon Paw Prince layer, Braveheart, and Silvertrot's eyes. Hey, there they are. There we go. Nice, nice, very nice. There is only one problem though. This white line art over here, that needs a little bit of correction. So let's go to the head layer, select a smaller brush, and let's change this exposure to. I actually need a larger brush. There we go. Let's darken this a little bit. Let's change away from highlight. Nope. Let's keep highlight. Why isn't this doing anything? That's because it's still on midtones. Derp. There we go. Now, essentially, I'm pretty much just hiding this line art at this point. Probably should have done this from the start. This line art should probably not exist, now that I think of it. Not this part of the highlight of the line art anyway. That looks weird. How can I correct this? I cannot erase it. I can't really color it a different color. Let me go back here on this layer and let me light up this shading here a bit. Okay, this is a bit better. It's still not good, but hey, what if I do this? It still doesn't look good. You know what? I have made a mistake here at the line art level, and that is not something that I can easily fix now. I could fix it, but then I would have to shade this entire layer all over again, and that was a lot of work. So I'm going to leave it like this. This is unfortunately a mistake that I'm gonna have to leave in. And mental note for the future, next time I draw this little guy, be mindful of the eye socket line art. Because on this style, it doesn't work very well when shading. It works great if not shading, but otherwise it doesn't. Now, let's close this group. Let's head over to the background. And I want to improve this effect a little more. How can I do that? Let's see. Well, first, where is it? This is the snow texture. Snowy ground base. That's not what I want. Tail trails. Yeah, I think that's what I want. Oh, I see. Ideally, I would have to draw some snow pieces like across here on the borders and there too, because you know this tail has just dragged across the snow, so there should be some snow that has been thrown out of this area. That is going to be so much trouble though. Oh. Why did I draw a snowy ground? Okay, one thing at a time. First, let me improve this thing here. Okay, I'm gonna want this color, I guess. But let's make it darker. Should probably make this on a new layer. Let's grab another shade of this. Not sure if I want it to be darker though, or lighter. Whatever. Let's grab a brush and let's draw some lines. I can't see the lines. Okay, now I can see some line. Let's draw some lines going across and around. Now what I am trying to do here is, you know, when you drag your hand across the sand and leaves some marks, that is what I am trying to represent with this. Now of course this is not going to be just a bunch of lines going around like this. I'm going to add some effects to them. So it should look more natural. Okay. Yeah, this here is definitely not the correct shade that I need. Let's make this a little darker. And it is kind of okay that this is all irregular, such as this. It is supposed to be like this, because this should help with the effect later when I apply it. Alright, let's see, now I need the smudge tool, and I am going to need some brush that, maybe this one. Let's see, 200. Let me try. I am going to duplicate this layer first to have a backup. Let's begin. Oh yes. I forgot that every time I use smudge on this old computer, this computer is almost 11 years old now. I forgot that every time I use smudge tool on this computer, it takes a little while to process the effect. Isn't that fun? This application is not even good. Let me undo all of this. Let's try a larger brush. 600. Let's try a little larger. Let's go for 900. Going from side to side a little bit. And now we wait, because this is going to take a little bit. While I wait, let me go over on the other computer here. And cause I am installing Windows XP on a virtual machine on that computer. So I need to continue the installation. Now, of course, you cannot see it because it's on another computer, which, by the way, I have managed to fix, although I did have to spend money on it. And unfortunately, that had to come out of my car budget. You know, the budget that I have to restore my car. I had, on top of replacing the motherboard to fix the issues I was having with that computer, with the RAM slots apparently being loose somehow, I had to buy another motherboard to replace the old one. I had to spend over 500 bucks on the new motherboard. And then after I replaced that, I discovered that the problem with the motherboard was masking another problem with the power supply. And so, well, long story short, I had to spend over 400 bucks on a new power supply as well. But after I have replaced those two parts, the computer hasn't had any issues ever since. So now I'm having to reinstall a virtual machine that I used to have on that PC, because I use that computer for work mostly. And because of the work I do, I kind of need to use a virtual machine. And I run Windows XP on that VM. And actually, you normally just copy that VM from my main PC. But for some reason, that virtual machine wasn't working very well, so I am installing it from scratch, just to see if it is a problem with the VM or the program VMware itself. You know, to see if it's going to run normally or not. Because if it doesn't, then I'm gonna have to reinstall VMware. But yeah, I've managed to fix the issues that the computer was having, but unfortunately I had to spend money, and I really didn't want to spend any money, because think of it, over 500 reais plus over 400 reais motherboard and power supply, that's almost 1,000. I could have spent that money, I could have used that money towards affording the restoration of my car, or even new parts for the upgrade that I so desperately need on my main computer, which is the one that I am using to draw and stream from. So that was a expense that I otherwise would really want to not have. And it's not like I even upgraded that computer, just replaced parts for other ones that are identical. So all in all, it's still very much the same computer. And the effect is still being applied. It is more or less around this area right now. And I see that it did not really apply much on the corner over here, so I'm gonna have to do another pass to cover that area. Mm-hmm. Hmm. It's not even easy to make much commentary while I wait here because there isn't much to talk about while this effect is being applied. I am noticing that I'm gonna have to manually do some tweaks to every single one of those paw prints and hoof prints and footprints because I need to eliminate the snow texture from them. After all, those are prints on the snow, so they need to be smooth. So I'm gonna have to do that too. Oh my god, there's so many of them. Okay, the effect has finished applying. I can see the texture in there. That needs to go away. Maybe I'm going to run a test in a few to see if it is really necessary. But now let's see. Well, the effect works, but needs another pass. So here we go. Now this time on the edge. This wasn't good enough. Cancel. I'm gonna need a smaller brush. Let's try 600. No, 700. Yeah, 600. Now let's do the pass. Down here. Up here now. And now let's wait some more. Well, at least we have got some very nice tunes to listen to. almost done, I can see. There we go, it's done. Alright, this is looking much better. Excellent. Now it does look more like the tail has been dragged across. So that is good. Now let's see, do I want to keep this layer up here? Yes, I'm gonna. I am going to name this layer Tail Trails 2. And I'm going to keep it like that. Let's see something. Okay, the effect did not go outside of any boundaries that it was not supposed to, so that is good. Let's save.
Okay, the world presents some problems and we don't know what to do. You come to find your feelings aren't exactly what you knew.
Now, how exactly am I going to do this border? This should not be this. What's the word that I'm looking for? This is flat. You know, this is defined. Well, it should, but also shouldn't. Let's see, snow marks. Let me see if I can give you an example of what I am trying to say. Like, I want like something that has been dragged across the snow. Like more or less like this. Some, no, tire tracks are not really the example that I'm looking for. That is so smooth. It looks so nice. Anyway. What the heck are these? Well, this I think this works as an example. It is a slow resolution because this full photo was obviously taken from far away. Let me turn on some lights over here because it's getting dark. But yeah. This is certainly someone skiing or whatever, sledding. But point is, it was something that was dragged across the snow, and you can see that it has lifted chunks of snow, and these chunks have been left around the corners. So like, let me zoom in a little more. Like this over here, for example. Okay, you can tell that there are chunks of snow tossed on top of the smooth snow here. So imagine that this was a tail that swiped across here. That tail has grabbed some snow with its tip and tossed it outside of the area where it was dragged across. So that is something that should exist over here, and I am not really sure if I know how exactly I'm going to do that. I honestly do not know, because I haven't thought of that when I drew this stuff. I haven't thought of that before. Oh my god. Okay, while I try to think of that, let me test what I was talking about with the paw prints on the snow. And dragon paw prints. No, that's not what I want. Snow texture. Yeah, Snow texture. Let's see, smudge tool. Yeah. A smooth round brush. Yeah. Let's smooth this up with the smudge. Let's see what this looks like. That actually seems to look quite nice. I'm gonna hide the paw prints layer. Yeah, you can kind of see the paw print there, but that's because I've used the smudge tool there. Also, this should be in this group. There we go. Wait. Ah, there we go. Okay, so I am going to do that on all of them. I am not going to save this document just now yet though, because this is a sort of major change. I will have to save as a different file. Well, not necessarily as a different file, but with a slightly different name. So like this is Alpha 5, I am going to save it as Alpha 6. So this should be more noticeable over here. There we go. Nice, this is looking nice so far. Because once I save it, there's no going back. Well, unless I load the backup file, but in terms of wanting to have this effect, there should not be going back. Is that a paw print over there? I think it is. Yes, it is. Now, because this is mostly hidden by the tail and the dragon himself, I'm not going to apply this smoothing to all of it. Ooh, I love this song. Is that another paw print down there? Let me hide the dragon. Oh yes, it is. Let me do this one. Okay, that is looking good so far. Is it this one over here? Okay, that looks nice. Is that another paw print over there that I'm seeing? Let me hide the Yoshi. Yes, it is. Let's handle this one too. And since I am here, let me do the Yoshi's footprints. Although his do not seem like they require as much of this. They're so much smaller compared to the dragons. The dragon is a big boy after all. He's a very big boyo. Okay, so that should be everything for the Yoshi. Let's do the ponies. Now, these do require this effect. Let's do this one back there, behind his leg. Over here. Now, of course, it doesn't have to be perfect, for the simple reason that, well, you can barely see any details here anyway. Almost done. I say that, but I'm still only halfway through. Okay, that's what I get for drawing for having quadruped characters. Ah, who cares? I love them. I love my guys. Now, I did say that this does not have to be very detailed, but it must not leave the hoof print area. This effect can only be applied within the hoof print. Okay, that seems to be good. Let's save as Alpha 6. Alright. Do I have any brush that I can use to at least simulate those snow chunks that I was talking about? I must have. Come on, please tell me you do. If not, then I'm gonna have to figure out a way to draw some and make them look natural on top of everything. Let me make a new layer here. Let me see, what is this brush? Size 300. Let me use the color black. What is this? What is this? I mean, it looks cool, but what is this? I have no idea what this is. Well, let's try something else. These are just circles. Oh, that is neat. That is actually quite neat, but not what I am looking for, not what I need. What is... oh. This is nice. This could be useful for like light being cast through a window, for example, or some, you know, quick movement of something. This is just a bunch of chains. Oh, that is cool. That is literally a chain. I don't know whatever this is. These are sparkles. Well, light shines rather. Those look like clouds, grass. What is this? This might be what I am after. Oh my god, that's way too big. Brush 100 for this is way too big. Looks like spots on a Dalmatian. Not really what I am after. So that is that. Now maybe it might work, but let me keep looking. I must have something that I can use. These are planets, moons. Should probably add a moon somewhere on the sky. That should be nice. These are flames. Definitely not what I am looking for. What is this? Smoke? Yeah, I guess. Wait a second. Let's change to brush 300. Interesting. That's definitely a contender. What is this? This, I think this here might be what I am looking for. What happens if I try and add some sort of effect? Let's see if I can make this look natural. Dude, I think I found the brush that I need. Just gotta make this work. Yes, I think this is it. So like, let's add some like that. Oh. Let's have it going across. Kind of like this. Okay, that's too much now. Let me try to change the size of this to 200. Let's do this one pass. Let's do a second pass. Now let's do a third pass, going back and forth. And one pass on the outside. Okay, now, oops. Let me select this, do some distortion. So I can try and give it some sort of, I don't know, perspective maybe. Come on, distort. Okay, so far it is working. Okay, that works. Let's do the same thing over here. Now, of course, I am not going to leave it just like that, because as you can see, there is this some parts that are showing below the mark that the tail has left on the snow, and that is just not ideal. I have to sort that out. Perspective. Distort. And apply. Okay, let's add some of this under the tail maybe. Actually, no. That is going to be something different. Let me name this layer Snow Chunks. Let's see here. Tail trails. Okay, that is not what I want. Snowy ground base. That's not what I want either. Didn't I? Wait, is this what I'm looking for? Tail print? Yes, this is what I am looking for. I was gonna ask, didn't I have like a full shape of the thing? Okay, so this here is what I want. Right. Let's see. Maybe some blur. Yeah, let's try the blur tool with this brush. Because I want, hang on a sec. I want this very well defined line to be less so well defined, if that makes sense. Okay, let me try this. This apparently is going to take a little while to apply, so more waiting, yay! Let's do another pass on the way back. And now, waiting. Oh, it is done. Alright, good. Let's apply this same effect to this side over here. Okay, let's go back. Did it do it? Yes, it did. Let's see, snow trails. Snow texture. Did I apply any sort of this effect to the snow texture itself? I did. So let's try this on this layer as well. There we go. Let's try over here. Not try, let's apply this over here as well. That line is still too well defined. It's not here, not there. It must be here. Let me try and apply this over here too. Let me see what this is going to do. Yeah, I think that looks better. Let's do the other side. I'm gonna need to do 2 passes. I think that should work. So there we go, pass 1. Now onwards to pass number 2. And now we wait until the effect applies. As usual. Okay, so that is done. And that looks much better. Okay, so tail print. Let's select this. Invert the selection. Go to the snow chunks layer. Let's use a hard round brush for the eraser. Let's erase these pieces, oops, these pieces of snow that are on the inside. Oh my goodness. Control Shift I to invert the selection. Dang it. There we go. That's much better. Yes. Yes! There we go. That is what I was trying to accomplish. Excellent. Now that looks more, I mean, it's not perfect, but it looks like the tail has actually been dragged across there. Let me fiddle about a little bit with the left bevel and emboss and see if I can improve this a little. Hang on, I need more zoom. Enhance! Enhance! Okay, let's see. Right now it has a size of 1. If I increase the size, it looks like crap. Let's set it to 0, maybe. Soften. Let's keep the soften at a 5. Yeah, what if I add some contour? Nah, let's not add the contour. Drop shadow, maybe? No. Size? Distance? Ew, no. Spread. What about spread? Eesh, no, definitely no. No. No drop shadow. Okay. Yeah, this is good. This is pretty good. Let's save. Let's save and drink water. Okay. Let's see what's next. I suppose that next I should start shaving. Not shaving. Well, I do need to shave, but that's not what I was going for. I should start shading the background, but first give me the sky layer. Let's create a new layer above it. Let's grab the brush tool and let's select a moon brush. Here's a few moons and planets. This looks like Jupiter. Is it Jupiter? I can't see. It's too bright. I don't know what that is. Regardless, it's not what I'm looking for. Okay, so that is a moon. I don't know what that is. That's a half moon. Actually, let me try white. Entirely white. This might work. I might be onto something. This is a full moon. I don't really want a full moon. That is Saturn. Or any other planet that has rings. I don't know. I don't know what that is. That's nice. That looks kind of like Earth. Is that Earth? That is Earth. Nice. I can actually use this to test these brushes. me see what each one of them is. That is Jupiter. That is also Jupiter. Saturn. Mercury, I guess. That's the moon. That's also our moon. Also the moon. These are phases of our moon. Our moon is beautiful. Have you ever noticed? Sometimes I stand outside when the sky is clear and I just stare at the sky. I admire it. It's beautiful. So much stuff is out there. It's incredible. Do I have any more planets or moons? Doesn't look like I do. Okay, I think I'm going to use this brush. Yeah, I'm going to use this phase of the moon. Don't save that. I don't need that one either. And where exactly do I want this to be? Over there, I guess. That's too visible in the sky. Let's see. Let's put this over here. Let's tilt it. That way we can see exactly where the light from the sun is coming from. Actually, I could just leave it there, like that. Just not sure if I want to, if I want it to be that size. I can put it behind the clouds, but you know what? This is where it looks best. Okay, let's just change its size a little. Here's the thing though. So this is our moon. Technically it's our moon. But let me name this layer first. Moon. Okay. This big green guy over here, he doesn't live on planet Earth. Therefore, the sky on the world he lives in is different from ours. And I have established years ago that the sky, the system where he lives, I don't know, I have never decided on a name for the planet where he lives, the realm, whatever. It's a fantasy thing, okay? He's a dragon. The point is, I have established years ago that the sky of the land where he lives does have 2 moons at night. So let me find a picture that shows that, because not even I remember. It's been so long since the last time I have drawn one of those guys. I think that Shout Your Last Cry is one of them. Here it is. So yeah, it has one either very big or very close to the planet. It has one there, but there's another one that has it more visible. That is very nice. So this is the background that I have drawn for this picture over here. Very nice. Anyway, I'm going to leave that open. I think I am probably going to have an easier time finding what I am looking for if I go in my gallery here on DA. So let's see, dragons. I remember making another picture that has the two moons more visible, so if I did, it is gonna be in here somewhere. There's this one I have just shown you. This one I put that Saturn-like planet there for some reason. I mean, it is a fantasy setting, so it's bound to have some different things in the sky. You know how fantasy skies go. Now we are approaching very early stuff. Look at the quality dropping. Yep, that's about it. I guess I have not drawn such thing after all. Okay. Let's do it now then. So let's have that one there. And let's add another one closer to here. Let's just pick one of these. Let me create a new document to test these. That's just our good old Earth moon. That doesn't look much like our moon though. The heck is this thing? Is that Mars? I think that is Mars. Anyway, I don't want Jupiter. I definitely don't want Earth. Although, what would Earth look like? I'll just change this to size 2000. That is definitely Earth. Yeah, no. Hey. What if I just change the color of this? Actually, hold on. Let me go back to Shout Your Last Cry. I should use this one. What is this? Okay, so that is not... it's definitely not this. That's Earth. Maybe it might be that layer that I said might be... Oops. Might be... Not layer. Brush. That I said might be... not Jupiter. Mars. Might be this one. Let's change the size to 2000. Let's compare. Ah, yes, it is. This is the one. Okay. Color. This is kind of brown. Let's try brown. If anything, actually, I could just go into the file for this and just copy that over. Yes, that's what I'm gonna do. And then I can just simply edit and adjust accordingly as I find necessary. Let's see, final 2. Oh. Okay, let's open this thing. Oh my god, this looks gigantic. There we go, that's better. Let's see, moon. See, I did name this thing moon. Stars, shadow over moon. So I need these 2 layers. Let's duplicate them over to Alpha 6. Yeah, my pen. Come back, pen. Alrighty, let's see. Where did those 2 layers I have just duplicated to here went? They are already selected. They're right here. Wow, the canvas on this old picture is so small compared to the canvas on this one that without changing the size of the moon back here, you see this moon back there behind this dragon statue? It looks very big on this picture, right? But that's the whole thing over there. Can you see it right there? That is that exact same moon. Wow. Like seriously, let's do a little comparison. Let me grab this Starry Sky because this here is the exact same size as the entire canvas. If I paste it over this sky, there it is. This is this entire picture. Wow. I really did increase the size of my working canvas, didn't I? Incredible. Alright, I don't need that. Let me name this Moon 2. Well, I need to have this thing to be an equivalent size to the original. So let me look at this again. Let's put this up there a little bit more. No, down, up. Okay, let's have it over here. Tilt it a little more. There's the hole over there. Well, since supposedly this would be a different part of the world from this area here, I suppose we can have this thing be on a different position. After all, different region, different positioning of things in the sky. So like more or less here maybe. Further to the side. Yeah, sure, why not? Let's put it over there. Now the thing is, the color of this thing. Let's assume for a moment that this is the actual color of this celestial body. I still need to make it a little more blue because of the atmosphere. I feel like it should be more bluish than this. Let me add some opacity. Yeah, that works. That works perfectly. Maybe just let's try and tweak this opacity a little more. Let's slowly increase the opacity up to 80%. Yes, 80%, that works. Okay, let's save. Why is there an ant on my glass of water? Go away. Right. So that is there. And I can now close this. And also this. So now the background should be ready to be shaded. All the characters are shaded, they just need some detailing. How the frick am I gonna shade those trees. Oh god, the trees. I haven't thought of the trees. How many layers are they? They are a bunch of layers, but some of them are also in the same layer. I hope I haven't put them, some of them that are in the same layer, have not put them on top of one another. I really hope I haven't done that. Oh boy, the trees are going to be a nightmare. Anyway, snowy ground base. Oh, and I also gotta make the shadow of the characters being cast on the snow. Ooh, that is going to be so much work. You have no idea how much work that is gonna make. That's gonna be. Let me save here. Let's close this. Let me see a thing. Alpha 3 sample. Okay. This can be closed. Let me save a new sample. Alpha 2 sample. Alpha 3 sample. Let's call this. Well, this is Alpha 6. So Alpha 6 sample. That's going to take a little bit of time to save, because it is now converting to PNG. You can see right down here, saving 95%. It sure is take a lot, I'll tell you what. Computer, could you please hurry up? We don't have all night. I honestly can't wait to upgrade this machine. The problem is the budget. One, I don't have enough yet, and two, the parts are very expensive. Ryzen 5 3600, which is what I am hoping to buy. Let's see how much it's costing. There's a lot of motherboards on a processor search. Don't they have that anymore? Right? 30 items, 100 items per page. The 3600X is out of stock. Almost 2,000 reais. Here it is. 1,600 reais, and it's currently out of stock. Now you might say, oh, but Mike, why don't you go for the next generation? The 5600X. It should be better and faster. Yes, it should be. It is also much more expensive. I don't have even half of this money right now. And what I have so far is only enough to buy either the processor or the motherboard. And I need both plus RAM. Okay, so this is done saving. let me compare the progress from, oh wait a second, this should not be named coloring alpha 6. There we go. Let me compare the progress from the last time I have saved one of these to what I have done so far. So this is how much work I had done up until the alpha 2 progress file, and this is what I have now. Oh, so much better. It's going to look a lot better once I shade the background as it is supposed to be shaded. Hey, thank you, Blooming. Yeah, I really like it. But I am so dreading shade those trees. Oh my god, the trees are going to be a nightmare. They're going to be so much work to do. And this is what it looks like with all the characters. Interesting. Yeah, oh my god, those trees. I am scared of them. Oh god. Let's save. And I think I am going to stop here for today, because I am feeling a bit tired, and it has been 3 hours of streaming. 3 hours is the minimum that I stream for on Sundays. And I'm also hungry. I gotta find food. Our fridge broke down, by the way, so the food situation is being a little complicated right now. Fun. The worst part is that it broke down on December 31st at night. So exactly, well, it started breaking down or exactly at New Year's Eve. When it was January the 1st, it was already broken. It was still running, but it is not cooling down inside at all. If you open the door and put your hand inside, it would be pretty much the same temperature as outside. And well, stuff inside started to go bad. We lost a lot of food that was inside that fridge because of this. And the smell, oh god, the smell, it's awful. But yeah, it broke down on Friday, which was a holiday, and then we had the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, today, so nothing opened. And tomorrow, Monday, I'll have to see if I can find some shop, someone who can fix it, and hopefully it is not going to cost a fortune, because we are kind of short on money. But we need to get that fridge fixed ASAP. But yeah, this is going to be all for today, and I'm gonna see if I can find if I can source out some food, because I'm hungry. Anyway, guys, I hope you have enjoyed today's stream. I know I did. I always like working on art and listening to music and talking. It's fun. I enjoy it a lot. But I hope you have enjoyed. As usual, the final reminders at the end of every stream. Every Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern, I play a different game every week. I probably am going to play Phasmophobia again next Friday. Probably, and it's not guaranteed. So if you'd like to see me get some scares, that's the stream for ya. Oh, I'm happy that you enjoyed, Blooming. I'm very happy. Thank you. What else? Occasionally I might do some extra stream on Saturdays, though those are not scheduled, so they will happen whenever they happen. So if you want to catch one of those, you gotta stay alert for, you gotta stay tuned for any announcements. And the Art Sunday, the Chill Art Sunday, every Sunday at 2 p.m., where I do art like you have just watched. If you like art, always tune in on Sundays at 2 p.m. Eastern to catch it. And I am working on it. Yeah, I'm still working on it, but soon I intend to soon add another stream slot on the week, probably on Wednesday, but I'm not sure if that is going to happen on Wednesdays and at what time and what exactly I'm going to stream on those. But that is definitely something that is going to come. Game moderation on Truckers MP. Those are streams that I am going to add to the schedules. I have just done one of those this last Friday, January the 1st. I'm not sure when the next is going to be. I am thinking of doing those like once a month, but that's still in the air. Just stay tuned for announcements on those. Those are going to come probably once a month, but that might change. It might change to once a week, or I don't know. I still have to define. But anyway, I believe these are the reminders. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for joining the stream. I hope you have enjoyed, and I wish you all a very good week. I wish you all a very good year. May it be blessed, may it be a much better year for all of us than the previous year has been, because let's be honest, 2020 it was terrible for all of us in many different levels, for some worse than others. And I know me and my family, we had our share of difficulties on that year, and the difficulties that came up because of problems on 2020 are still going to linger into 2021 for us. And I know it's pretty much going to be the same for many other people across the world. So the only thing we can hope for is that this year improves. And I know there's still going to be troubles, but hopefully things will get better. And yeah, that is my wish for all of us. May 2021 be a better year in all senses possible. But yeah, my friends, again, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a good week. God bless you, stay safe, stay healthy, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.
Present some problems and we don't know what to do. You've come to find your feelings aren't exactly what you knew. The odds are stacked quite poorly if without a winning hand. But bear in mind your bearing's only worse if you don't try. Don't bet on taking trips because they'll turn your trips to trash. You've got to set your sights and hopes on setting not to crash. Citrus can seem quite big if you don't make your plans unfurl. But I will not let that my opinion of such enough. Bet on sinking ships because they'll turn your chips to trash. You've got to set your sights and hopes and set it not to crash. The truth can seem quite bleak if you don't make your plans unfurl. But I will not let that mark my opinion of the fact that if you could fix the failings of the current paradigm, we would have a hero who's supposed to be elusive and on time. Just on time. And then we would all contrive new conflicts, Don't bet on sinking ships because they'll turn your chips to trash. You've got to set your sights and hopes and setting not to crash. The truth can seem quite bleak if you don't make your plans unfurl. But I would not let that mark my opinion of the year. Don't bet on sinking ships because they'll turn your chips to trash. You've got to set your sights and hopes on setting not to crash. The truth can seem quite bleak if you don't make your plans unfurl. But I would not let that mark my opinion. Stipulations placed before you to get all the things you really need. Mr. Big may make things hard, but you have got to plant your seeds. Go to war, fight more,
Your dreams thrive by competition. You'll find no one famous ever got there just by flinching at their foes. Cling against the torment, claw with all your might at what you know. Don't let go, just grow. Don't wait or play to indecision. Don't bet on taking just because you got to know.